Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in at a petty pace from diary to diary. You keep nudging your move to France one square along the calendar, like a chess piece that refuses to learn how it moves. All your yesterdays have been lit by property portals, which is to say, candles that go out when the page refreshes. Out, out, brief browser tab. Life is not a walking shadow, it is a removal van idling outside while you argue with your own fear of forms. You strut and fret for an hour on the stage of research and then, overwhelmed, you are heard no more. Until next Tuesday, when you announce that you will start again. It is a tale told by uncertainty, full of acronyms, signifying I don't know what a notaire is. So today we sack the shadows. I will take you from myth to method, from someday to date in a notaire's office with pens that actually work. I will translate all the French terms as we meet them, sort fact from folklore, and turn the noise in your head into a clear, manageable, step-by-step path to keys. Your tomorrow has procrastinated long enough. Let's make it today. You want to buy a home in France, the country where bread has a moral compass, sunsets clock in like civil servants, and paperwork turns up with a little scarf and a sense of occasion. I'm Johnny, French by birth, baguette trained, fluent in both romance and paperwork. We begin where the music actually starts. Money. The price on the listing is a flirtation, not the bill. Over the top of it sits what everyone calls the notaire's fees. A notaire here is not the 5-minute stamp you may know. It is a state-appointed civil law notary, a legally anointed referee whose client is the law itself. On older homes, the total you pay to the notaire is usually in the 7 to 8% ballpark on top of the agreed price. On new builds, it is generally lower, closer to 2 or 3%, because VAT is baked into the cake. Sometimes the agent's commission is already folded into the price. Watch for the little tag FAI, which literally means fees included. Ask who pays that commission and how it is calculated, because a chorus of invoices will appear later and you should know which of them you've actually invited to dinner. If you need a mortgage, and many non-residents do, start before you have fallen in love with a kitchen sink. French banks worship documentation with the fervor of monks. You will give them bank statements, tax returns, employment contracts, proof that you are both solvent and emotionally stable, and then they will ask for the same again in a different order just to see how you cope. Property insurance must be active the instant you become owner, and life insurance is often yoked to the loan. If your money lives in another currency, treat the exchange rate like a moody relative. Plan for it now with a foreign exchange service or forward contract, so a tiny twitch in the pound or dollar does not transform your real kitchen into a hypothetical kitchen described only in poetry. If your eyelid is already twitching, hire a courtier, a mortgage broker. They speak paperwork, so you can continue speaking human. Now the hunt. Glorious, deranged, full of promise. Online portals will show you everything from monastic cells with a view of eternity to barn cathedrals where bats pay rent. When a listing says full of character, bring a torch and lower your ceiling expectations. Ask for a floor plan and the diagnostics, which are the compulsory technical reports that travel with every sale. You will meet the DPE, the Diagnostic de Performance Énergétique, the home's energy scorecard that reveals whether it purrs like a cat on sunlight or whizzes like a tractor in January. You will see checks for asbestos and lead in very old buildings, electrical and gas reports that explain whether your sockets were installed by an engineer or a novelist, and termite reports in zones where termites hold local elections. If the property is not connected to mains drainage, you will be handed a verdict from SPANC, Service Public d'Assainissement Non Collectif, the delightfully named Public Service for Non-Collective Sanitation, which inspects septic systems. If SPANC says the system is non-compliant, breathe. You generally have a year after purchase to bring it up to code, but you must price that reality into your negotiations because dreams don't pay for tanks. Do not stop at the bricks. Interrogate the map. Each commune has a rulebook called the PLU, the Plan Local d'Urbanisme, which tells you what you may build, alter, paint, open or regret. In historic zones, a guardian appears, the ABF, Architecte des Bâtiments de France, a heritage architect who protects listed surroundings with the intensity of a hawk. If your vision involves skylights and a daring blue for the shutters, consult the ABF before you unleash the paint. In the countryside, you may also meet SAFER, the Société d'Aménagement Foncier et d'Établissement Rural, a public body with the power to step in and buy agricultural land first to defend rural balance. It doesn't jump in every time, but its right exists. The notaire will check because the notaire checks everything, including, if permitted, your soul. At some point, your heart will pick a house and your brain will try to keep up. You make an offer. In France, an offer is a courtly bow, not a handcuff. It is not binding. The handcuffs arrive later in velvet in the form of the pre-contract. There are two flavors. The compromis de vente is a bilateral agreement. Both of you commit to sell and buy on the stated terms. The promesse de vente is a unilateral promise where the seller promises to sell to you and you pay an indemnity, typically around 10%, to reserve the property. Outside Paris, you will most often meet the compromis. In and around Paris, the promesse turns up more frequently. Inside this document lives the whole plot: the price, the precise description of what you are buying, the deadlines, the technical reports, and the protections you will need. Those protections are called conditions suspensives, contingency clauses written into the contract that say, essentially, the story continues if this condition is met. The classic one is the financing clause. If you cannot obtain a mortgage within the set time frame despite a reasonable attempt, you may withdraw without penalty. You can also anchor a condition to a specific planning permission if your entire dream hinges on converting the barn into a studio, or to a satisfactory SPANC outcome if sewage gods are keeping you awake. Ask for the protections your reality requires. If it is not written here, it doesn't exist. When both parties sign the pre-contract and you have been formally notified, usually by registered post or a legally tracked email, the cavalry arrives in shining legislation, the 10-day cooling-off period. 10 calendar days of pure, uncut, I have changed my mind. You don't need a reason, you just need the calendar. After day 10, the mood shifts. Your deposit, typically 5 to 10% held in the notaire's escrow, stops being a lovely idea and becomes serious collateral. Walk away without a contractual reason and you risk kissing it goodbye. Between the pre-contract and the final deed, the notaire descends into the archives like a spelunker with a briefcase. They verify the title chain so no phantom uncle claims your kitchen in 2036. They confirm boundaries and, where doubt shivers, may suggest a bornage, a boundary survey done by a géomètre expert, a licensed land surveyor who fixes stones in the earth like punctuation marks that even tractors respect. They examine servitude, legal easements, a neighbor's right to pass across that lane, a cable easement that forbids building under the wires, a right of view that stops you erecting a wall where you fancied a fortress. They check for the town's droit de préemption urbain, an urban preemption right that lets the municipality buy first for planning reasons, and they ask s'affaire whether the fields tempt it. If you are buying an apartment, the notaire orders the building's dossier because an apartment is not just a private kingdom. It is a seat in a miniature parliament called the copropriété, the co-ownership. You will receive the building rules, minutes from the last general meetings, the accounts, the planned works, and the state of the reserve fund. You will also see the loi carré surface, the legally measured internal area for private lots larger than 8 square meters, so you can separate geometry from estate agent optimism. Meanwhile, your bank sends the formal mortgage offer. Even here, France insists on a contemplative pause before you can accept. Align this rhythm with the deadlines in your pre-contract so all the drums beat together. If you cannot be in France for the final signing, grant a procuration, a power of attorney. Make it authentique, meaning signed in front of a notaire or at a French consulate, so no one faints theatrically over its validity. If the French language makes you nervous, ask for a traducteur assermenté, a sworn translator, and request bilingual drafts ahead of time. Completion is its own little play, the acte de vente, the final deed. Your funds arrive in the notaire's account in advance, your home insurance, assurance habitation, is already live for the very minute you become owner, and you and the seller read the meters together with the solemnity of surgeons counting scalpels. The notaire reads the deed aloud because comprehension outranks speed, and then you sign. The stamp thumps like a gavel, and keys land in your palm with a cool, ridiculous dignity. You will receive an attestation de propriété, an immediate certificate proving you own the place, while the fully registered deed completes its formal waltz through state systems and returns to you wearing more seals than a nature documentary. If you buy off-plan under VEFA, short for vente en l'état futur d'achèvement, which literally means sale in a future state of completion, you pay in stages as the structure rises, backed by a completion guarantee. Notaire costs are lower because the tax ingredients differ. If you are planning renovations, learn the liturgy early. A déclaration préalable is a light touch prior declaration for modest works, small extensions, new windows, shifts in facade. A permis de construire is the full building permit for larger changes.
We'll return after these messages.
I hope you are enjoying the video so far, and this is the product placement moment in the video. The product I'm placing is my own. I have just published my very first novel. It is in French and you can find it on Amazon in a country near you. I will put some QR codes on screen, and of course I will put different links in the comments section and in the description. And if you decide to give a try to my book, then I would be very happy to know on Amazon what you have thought about it by reading your reviews over there.
We now join our regularly scheduled programming already in progress.
If you intend to let the place out, check rules now, not when your first guests are at the door. Big cities often require registration or authorization for short-term rentals, and the DPE energy grade increasingly decides what you can legally rent long-term as efficiency standards tighten. The rulebook evolves. Your best friends here are the Notaire and the Mairie, your town hall, who can tell you the chapter that applies this year, not the legend overheard in a bakery in 2012. Couples in France live under a marital property regime, a legal framework that decides how assets are owned between spouses. Buying with friends or family comes down to indivision, joint ownership. Simple, democratic, perfectly fine until someone wants out. Another structure is the SCI, the Société Civile Immobilière, a French property holding company often used to organize shared ownership and choreograph inheritance. Speaking of which, inheritance is not a ghost in Act 5, it is a lead. France has the réserve héréditaire, the reserved portion, which protects children's shares of your estate. You cannot sweep them off the stage with one dramatic will and a clap of thunder. This surprises many foreigners. A French will, perhaps an SCI, perhaps a tweak to your marital regime, these are tools, not tricks, and the notaire will happily explain them before you sign the pre-contract, when the clay is soft and good decisions are cheap. After the applause, life. Transfer electricity, water, gas, internet. France runs on SEPA, the Euro direct debit system, and while the law forbids IBAN discrimination, refusing a foreign euro account because the letters on it are exotic, some systems cling to the past like ivy. So persist politely and learn your taxes. Taxe foncière is the annual property tax paid by owners. Taxe d'habitation has been largely abolished for main homes, but continues for second homes and may be higher in areas under pressure from holiday houses. If there is a wood burner, book a ramoneur, a chimney sweep, ensures a door clean flues. Keep every scrap, deeds, diagnostics, building minutes, guarantees, scan them and back them up. In France, a well-fed binder is a minor god. It accepts offerings in the form of labeled dividers. As for time, France measures it with a sundial and an espresso. You hunt and negotiate for a few weeks. You sign your pre-contract a week or two after terms are agreed. You enjoy 10 days of pure reversible decision. Then you glide through 6 to 10 weeks of legal searches, mortgage rituals, and the occasional mayoral nap about preemption. 3 months from offer to keys is common. Faster happens, slower also happens. The country rarely apologizes, but it often hands you excellent cheese while you wait. But at the end, you get there and there is that moment. The keys are heavier than expected, the door is cooler to the touch than any door has a right to be, and the house smells faintly of dust, possibility, and someone else's curtains. You put the kettle on a cardboard box because chairs are always late to their first day, and you sit there listening to the soft hush of your own future. A neighbor says bonjour, which you will hear 10,000 times, and like more each time, and the house begins to accept your footsteps. The paperwork recedes to a polite memory of necessary theatre. What remains is the life. The market on Saturday, the first winter fire, a spring morning when light strolls down your hallway as if it has always lived there. You are ready. Thank you for watching. I love you all.